This starts now. 3, 2, 1.
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Good evening, travelers and those alike. I am the Hitman, Ed Odell. This is our co-host, Ashley McNeil.
And I am Rhonda Harris.
And our special guest, you already see her on air right now.
Katrina.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I made it. Hi, Rhonda. Hello, Ed. And your co-host.
Ashley.
Ashley. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. And hello to everybody. Thank you for being here. Hello to Ann Gear. I see here she's on. Ann G's on. Kimberly Barber's on. Jesse Madonna. Hello to everybody that's tuning in. I can see you. Thank you all for being here. This is a really unique show, and I'm sure it's going to be, as always, unique for Katrina, because this isn't a show that she usually does readings. This is where we straight talk with her, with you. That's what it's about.
Blah, 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 blah. I was just kidding. That's a straight talk you're going to get. I'm literally on the side of the road in a town in Texas with a cup of coffee. I'm working on 2 hours of sleep, and the government had decided that they wanted to take my son to South Korea a day early. So we've been on the road, and like I said, I saw that I had a good 5G, so I pulled off.
Smart.
She's on the side of the road for about an hour. Then she's going to get back on. What?
How is everybody?
Good.
Fantastic.
It is a wonderful day, charged with some new stuff and old stuff alike, if you will.
This is definitely the time of getting rid of trash.
Talk it, girlfriend.
Yeah.
It just seems to be common denominator on people I know on top of strangers. So it just shows that it's the enlightenment and the in alignment.
Mhm.
And I truly believe everything happens the way it's supposed to. So
I could not agree more. I
yeah.
can see our chat is not really updating very well. So,
Nobody
Kimberly,
wants to talk to us. No, just
oh,
kidding.
no, they do. It's just chat's not coming through for some reason. Kimberly Barber said, "Hey, Katrina."
Hi,
So,
sweetie.
I don't
Forever
know.
friends.
Forever friends. Now, let's start that out with that. Katrina, what is Forever Friends?
Well, because when I sit down and I have a session with you, um, I'm able to connect on a whole different level, being empathic and also seeing and touching your loved ones for you. I'm like a conduit, or I say the words wrong because, I act in between, and I know I don't invade. Anyone that reads, you don't invade their privacy, but you get to know them in a very intimate level. And the sessions come so intimate,
Uh-huh.
and 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 they're none are the same, and I can't think of any other thing to call in such an intimate setting than a forever friend, and that's how it came up.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I'm glad. Thank you, Rhonda. I saw you capture that. John Harris is popping in. We want to say hello to him. To my sister, Debbie Alexander. She's popped in. Hello to you.
Hello.
To everybody. Oh, look, Kimberly's coming up. There we go. Kimberly says, "I am a forever friend and have
She
been
is.
for 12 years. Love Katrina." Who doesn't
I
love
love that
Katrina?
too.
I know.
Thank
What's not
an
to love?
ex-husband, two of them, I can tell you for sure.
Yeah, well, that's probably with reason. I'm just saying.
That
That's
was
on
probably
Yeah.
them.
part of the trash taking itself out stuff.
Right? Thank you.
It is. But see, my problem is that I like to recycle, and I feel like something is good in there somewhere, and then I realize it's just trash. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that is the life of a psychic medium and an empath, is we always see that we can see that good in them, but unfortunately, unless they want to bring it out, we're stuck with what we got.
yes,
You know,
yes.
that's very true. That's but it's almost like a cycle of life at times too. When we're talking about taking out the trash,
Yeah.
it's kind of like revolving door. Are you learning your lesson from the last time? Are you going to repeat it?
My recent one has just been within this week, within 7 days, and I'm still pondering. There's nobody. There's no fault in both sides. Sometimes you just grow apart. Sometimes too, and but I am reflecting on how can I recognize. That's the key. Recognize when a turn of events happen, so we don't drag it. There's no
Yeah.
sense in dragging, because I'm going on the other side of 60, and I'm celebrating
Oh,
my 10-year anniversary, March 14th, of coming out and starting this business of Forever Friends, and am dedicating it to them. But I learn a little bit from each one, and I think that that's all our soul is required or blessed to do. Because as long as you're learning lessons, that's what I tell my kids. They're young and they're ahead of the game.
right.
Just questioning it. If you start to question it, that makes you aware. Now you can break it down into, is it fixable? Do you throw it away, or can you enhance it? And that's where I am in my life right now.
Trying to enhance it.
Yes.
Yeah, because if it's broken, we always feel like it can be fixed, right?
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm broken, I can't give any pieces away.
Right? You know, I just talked about that. Spooky. That's spooky. You talk
Woo!
about that. I know, right? Here we go.
This is straight talk, man.
Right? I was talking about that earlier on the promotion video that I did earlier today. Was
I'm
talking
sorry,
about
I didn't see it.
it. No, it's okay. It's all
You
right.
you
I'm
had
for
bigger
you,
things to be doing and saying goodbye to your son.
right?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
But we were. I was actually talking about that very thing, about how today's society is catching up and the awakening and the seeds, and how it seems like for some reason society fell back with their attitude, but the younger generation for some reason is finding that there is that integrity. They are, and I'm talking like their teens up in their 20s. They're finding the integrity. They're finding the gentlemanship.
Yes, I have two of those young adults that I'm proud to say are my sons, and that's I think that's very refreshing, and to be more open minded. And I like to say that paranormal isn't getting a more awoken, or more stuff is happening. It's more people slowing down and seeing it happening all along. That is the key. So when we all tap in, our energies are compounded on that, and I believe that we become one in a sense, kind of like, you know, electricity. You know, we are all electrical, and I just think that that's how it works. And I cannot use any scientific words or anything that's in a book. I'm a self-made, talk my own words. They call it Katrina talk. So, but I really believe in that, and I have always said that I feel like it comes from our earth in the center. And when I see the energy waves, I'm sure many will also say it's kind of like when you read an aura. And if you tap into just that right layer,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that everyone can tap into that too. And it seems to be coming and radiating from our own earth and then sprouting out towards the universe. I don't see it the opposite direction. So that means that we have it all along, and we're looking in the wrong place, or at least we're starting in the wrong place, maybe.
Yeah. It's funny you
Yeah,
mentioned auras. I just took a class in the last month or so, and each teacher teaches a little bit different. That's why I like studying classes with people I've already taken that kind of class, but I want to see how this person teaches it. And she actually went into the layers of the aura, and it's almost, there's like one layer. If you can get there, it's like the whole picture from
It opens up. It's like an informational highway.
Yeah.
It does. It does. And it can change right before your eyes. So when I do such things, or like past life regressions, or something that you want to do for a decision for tomorrow, okay? Because I don't like to do predictions. I ask for a now picture. I want one that right now. And I sent back notes. Everyone gets notes from me. Everyone says that they're famous. They love them because there's stuff on there that, of course, my style, I learn how to read them. And the moment that you get them, you see all the things you recognize because they're for you. So it's just tapping into the right energy. And I think that each person, we're designed that way. It just is. And some will have more of a connection, and others will be tapping into something different. Those are talents, so those can be enhanced and nurtured. But I also don't think that you can like trade talents either. Pick what is what works for you, and build on that. Build your own report, build your own knowledge. You can even take a deck of cards and forget about what the Google says, and assign those meanings for you. You get to choose your own dialect.
Mhm.
People hit me with that all the time. They want. I've got like a line of people that want me to teach a tarot class, and I'm like, the first thing you need to do, and they don't want to hear this, is take that tarot deck, look at every single card, and write on the card if you want to, write in a journal if you want to, what you think it means.
And it
Mhm.
stays that way.
Yep.
That's the whole key. You
Yep.
choose your own. If you're a person that can smell stuff, I mean, use what works for you. And that means you might be that sensitive person where you're saying that perfume stinks. That means you are a person with sensories. Or if you can touch things, that's what you're going to want to start your communication with, that you are familiar with. And I promise you, spirit and the universe will work with you.
Absolutely. And then they'll grow it for you from there. You don't
Oh,
stay
I call
the
it,
same.
yes, I call them classes. And that's what I did. And I didn't know until my meditation would change. I think it's very important. And I've also learned right now, I had an epiphany just last year, about 6 months ago. I think that we are doing meditation wrong, because we're teaching everyone that you have to be in a quiet room and you gotta relax and not think of anything. And then everybody thinks they're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
You guys are doing it wrong. Guess what? I have taught myself in the last 10 years to do it on cue, to do it while I'm in front of people, while I'm in a car. It is all I have to do is say, I'm in meditation, and my freaking brain immediately goes to it. It's called a training mechanism.
Yeah.
And we're teaching our people wrong. So I tell people, do it in 10-second intervals.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Right?
Yes, and you
Like when you're driving
eventually,
or walking,
it's
you mean,
just, yeah, you don't have to put all that meditation sounds or sensories, because those are important to keep, not get away from. So what you want to do is just teach your body, just like you've been blinking. You had no idea that your eyes are doing it for you, but it is. And
right.
that is the best way. And and before you know it, I don't even sit back. I'm in meditation now. Haha. Now that's how it goes.
There you go.
Literally.
Let me jump
Learning
in
to
here and say
breathe.
some hello.
Yeah.
Look, we have some people that just jumped in, and I want to make sure.
Yay.
Hello, Nina. Hello, Monica. Thank you for joining in. Let me see. I know someone else popped in, and I want to make sure everybody gets noted here. All right, I want to make sure I capture everybody that I can see. All right, cool. Also, Kimberly puts out, yes, Katrina was able to connect me with my father, that the last time I saw him, I was 5 years old, and I am now 57. But my dad passed away from a great attack at work. So I'm going to say great heart attack. Another Facebook user, and I think that's going to be over here. What does everyone have as far as senses? Oh, in here. Okay, so Debbie's asking in the travelers, what does everybody feel like they have as clairvoyance or senses in the traveler? And Miss Jean, holy Jean is in the house. My God, I haven't seen you forever. Hello, and thank you for being here. Girlfriend, you got people coming. The tribe is here.
So Katrina,
I'm
you
very,
want to go first? Which ones do you find most prominent right now?
in myself or the people that are asking the question?
That's a good question. I
Let's
think
go
the
with-
question is, maybe we should ask that. I don't know if they're asking what our senses specifically are, or maybe what most people start with, which is hard to say.
I got them all. Unfortunately, I do. I got them all.
Mine, I could pretty much say at some point in time, I've had them all. I don't have them all at one time. I kind of started very clear cognizance. Like I just knew stuff. I just knew it. I didn't know how I knew it. And then I had some of that, is it clairgustient when you can smell things? Like you'll just smell perfume, you'll smell cologne, you'll smell things. I had things like that. Here recently, it's become very clairaudient. Like I not only hear it internally, I hear it out loud. So
Yes.
it but there's been times where it all of a sudden it's just clairvoyant. Like it comes in all ways. I just feel like spirit with me, of course, I'm not as far along with my journey, but I feel like it alters as it needs to, or as I'm ready, or they feel I'm ready for it to.
I also think it depends on whom you're connecting with, because they too will choose what is easiest for them. Like if I'm talking with somebody that only knows Japanese, I would never know that in any way, because we're communicating on a different level. So I think that they get to choose what way is easier for them. And I'd also like to say, I have a hypothesis on when you're connecting, and sometimes it's a little bit not as strong as you might want it, or direction. I don't believe that that's the medium. I think we stay on that same level, because we're here and producing our energy. I think that my hypothesis is that the spirit or the entity that you're speaking to, I think it all has to do with how they've developed their skills, or even how is their personality? Because you can run into somebody on the street and they won't say one word to you. That is going to carry over into the other side too. So their mannerisms and stuff like that. So I like to let people, especially when they're tapping into, to enhance their skills. I really feel like they don't need to feel like it's them. You're doing everything in the correct way. And if you've done it once, you got it. Mm-hmm. So that means that I feel like it's the person that you're communicating with. Those are the things that'll be a little bit different.
Well, that's energy transfer, right? We're transferring
I think so.
There's that communication style.
And I even take that to like meditation. People get like, and Katrina, you're right. People get so caught up in like, all I can think about is my grocery list. Well, you know what? You'll get there. But the other thing is, everybody thinks they should be able to go in this guided meditation for half an hour and never think of anything else. And it doesn't work that way.
I do.
You don't need it.
And maybe
your brain doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, they don't understand that they'll just say, all I saw was red and blue. Well, that means something to you.
You write it down. Yes, you write it down.
Yeah.
It can also be the months. I always care. I don't care if somebody says, well, I'm asking questions. I still got red and blue. Now, the thing I want to ask is, red could be January, or it could be July, and blue could also be March, or it could be December. Those are also relevant. So these are very important clues that I feel that a person developing needs to write those down, get to see the MO.
Yeah, and if you're struggling,
right here. She's writing it down. I'm like, are you going to ask any questions? She's like, I'm learning.
If you're struggling,
I'm glad you're learning. Thank you.
The big thing I'll tell people, if you're really struggling, find a 5-minute body scan where they just help you, like from the top of your head to the bottom, like they'll go through each one and you just relax.
I do that too. I do body scans for persons that are ill or what. No, just to find out. Usually it's medical or troubles that they're having. But I've done scans, especially when it comes to past life regressions. I feel like me scanning the inner soul, their auras, all are layers of embedded information. And if I can come up with your fears and or the loves that you have written on a piece of paper, and it collides with an era that you also have been interested or drawn to. There's nothing on your body. I can't find any relevance to saying that there is a mole here and that you've been here before. I have not in any way come with that being significant at any point. But
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about? But you like body marks and stuff like that?
yes,
Maybe not.
yes, because I'm putting into consideration of what others are stating, but in my experience, yet that I've been gathering, it has never come up.
Okay. Rhonda.
So, Katrina, I have a question. And just because I know Ashley's trying to learn here, and hopefully that Ashley will let me work with her some, but
She's the newbie. She's our newbie, Katrina.
Hi, Ashley.
most of my mentors have started, like you said, meditation is key. Like start there. If it's just learning how to relax your body with your eyes closed, learn to do that. But then the second thing they've always told me that everyone I've worked with, like when you start their class, it's like, we're going to teach you your chakras so you understand what you're feeling, where that energy is, and then we're going to teach you to meditate. That's kind of, is there anything else that you think is important within that?
Chakras, I believe, is just an explanation that someone needs to put to understand what it is. Just like I could never understand what God looks like, and they're saying everybody. I could not get that concept in my head in any way, even to this day. But I feel like that is just a learning tool, and so I myself, I haven't found that I needed to rearrange or pay more attention, because I'm lining my energy like a pyramid. So as I'm doing, I'm the base and my light goes up. Remember, I told you, I feel like our energy is coming from our Mother Earth. I feel it coming from not the opposite way.
Right.
So,
it's not down, up.
and I truly,
down, up.
and I don't think that the meditation has anything to do with getting quietness or anything. I think meditation is the word for the key. The key to open up your door to start it. That's what I believe it is.
I agree.
Open your mind.
I agree, because Howie's heard me say many times, I need to go open up, and that just means I need to center, I need to ground, I need to
and what's interesting is my kids say this all the time. I could be driving, they're talking to somebody on the phone, I'm answering text messages verbally, and I'm doing a reading, and all of this is spontaneous. And at the moment I turn around and I go to my boys, and I'm like, and I'll answer something that is going on in their call, because spirit has no bounds, and it's all relevant to each other. I never notice until someone else says, well, you're doing like 4 or 5 things, and it never dawns on me.
Hey, Ryan. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. And I find when I'm in the car, I have different types of music that I listen to, especially if I'm on a long trip. I will change that music up. Like at nighttime, especially if I'm driving a Roanoke or something, I'm changing the style of music. A lot of times I get so involved in that music, it's like I become with that music. So I am meditating basically while I'm driving. I also do this when I'm walking.
All the time, and why quiet your brain? Because you're designed to do multi things at the same time. And I think that trying to learn that in an atmosphere that's almost impossible to obtain, you are sabotaging yourself.
And you see that a lot. Like, I think it's the monotonous things you do all the time, like cutting grass, driving, skimming your swimming pool out, the things where you're just kind of unconsciously doing it. How many times are you in the shower, taking a shower, and you got the brightest idea for a problem you've been trying to solve forever?
Correct.
Your higher self finally talking to you.
what you have failed to also remember is that your body is also growing fingernails. It's processing its food. It is sitting there obtaining a temperature. All of these things that our body does without us knowing it. It still is. And that's what I mean by a whole. Don't stop at one. You have to look at it as a whole. And we are designed to obtain it.
It's true. I mean, think about this. When you wake up in the middle of the night for no reason, usually it's a pop-up. You're snapping around.
Yes.
A lot of times what that is your mind, your brain is noticing that your bodily function, breathing, is not happening. So it will do a reboot, and the reboot will shoot down the system and wake you up. It'll actually shock your heart, shock you back up to make sure you're alive. So
Well,
actually, what do you think about?
Actually, my wake ups, are usually Mr. John coming by saying that he wants to talk to somebody. Those are the people that are messing with.
I can relate.
We got you. You there?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Something happened. Let me see. I think. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can you hear us?
Very little, because it was coming through my phone.
Ooh.
I mean, it was coming through my car, and now it's not anymore. So that's okay.
You may
I
need
can
to
still
start
hear
your
you.
car, Katrina.
Yeah. Pulling all this energy.
Yeah,
I was thinking I should leave out and then come back in. Would that be okay?
Yeah, give it a shot. It's fine.
Okay, I'll be right back, guys. You go ahead and talk whatever you like.
Okay. So while
I
she's
feel
doing
like I
that,
need to say, Ashley, don't feel overwhelmed.
yeah, I mean,
Don't feel overwhelmed.
she's like, I can do this, and then she says,
Don't feel overwhelmed. It's a process, and we can take you step by step. It's okay. It can be overwhelming. It's you're overwhelmed when you realize you have the abilities, or I shouldn't say that you have it, because everybody has it, that you've tapped into it. And then when people are like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, it can be broken down into little pieces, so it's not so overwhelming.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know why, but I'm kind of in denial of it. But the question I had for Katrina, since she's back, and you,
Okay, there we go.
At what age were you both confident that you were a medium?
Ooh.
40. 40.
Can she
Me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I would say that would be the confidence came in. Mine was shot down by family. You know that you're crazy. You're trying to get attention. So I knew a long time ago to keep my mouth shut, that I was different. So if we're gonna go with that awareness, I'm gonna say by 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
But confidently, by speaking to others and not worry about what others are thinking of me, I would say 40. And that would be because of being on TV, people talking about it.
I think too, a lot of times the ability comes out. Some people do. They are just born with it, and they know from get-go, and if they have supportive family members, it's grown. Some people, I think, maybe hit puberty and something happens up. Like now I can look back and go, oh yeah, that's why I was scared of the dark. Oh yeah, I remember seeing people. Oh yeah, I remember all this stuff. But
Katrina, we were telling her
some sort of traumatic event happens to you. And that's when, it could be a rock bottom moment, some kind of trauma in your life. It could be losing a loved one, kind of all of a sudden you hit there, or suddenly spirit puts you with the right people. With me, you asked me, Ashley, when did you know? I say 40. Ask Howie when he knew. I asked my best friend from high school when I had to go, come clean with her. Because I'm sitting there, you expect your best judgment from people who've known you since you were 14 years old. And I told her, she's like, Oh, I'm not surprised. You were always spitting some weird stuff out your mouth. Well, okay.
I could say the same thing. That's correct. I had the same story. Yep.
And yet, Katrina, we were telling her back then, you're unique. There's something going on with you. You know, you got this. And she was basically ignoring us. La, 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 la. And I'm like, oh, what the hell? You know?
Well, I was trying so hard to be someone else.
I think I could say 15. That's when they started doing everything.
No, I think it was more like 18, 19 when you really started going, hey, that's when you started asking me questions.
Well, when they started playing
Don't speak that way.
the Ouija board,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's kind of when things started happening for me. But
The Ouija board of doom.
100% 18.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. I think as teenagers that can happen. Now I'm not scared of a Ouija board at all. It's a tool. It's just a
Yeah.
tool.
Now we know how to use it.
Yeah.
Back then we didn't.
They did.
No comment. No, we didn't. Long story.
Oh, okay.
Me and
Never
Rhonda.
mind.
That's how I got in trouble.
Oh, boy.
Let me read this from Linda real quick because I want to make sure that I get said. Thank you. I see people talking all the time about dedicated. Did I say that right? Okay.
Yep.
Dedicated and step meditation practices with journaling and all that. My meditation doesn't work like that. It's in my quiet moments in the morning when I wake up, on my way to sleep, and in moments throughout the day. You know what? I understand where you're coming from with that, Linda, because mine comes when I say I drive, but when I'm drinking coffee in the morning, I'm by myself. It's my time. So I'm taking in coffee, which we know, a drug. Okay. But I'm putting that boundary up every morning. I will not. I'm accepting. I'm not accepting. I'm going through the steps and going, okay, but in the whole time I'm still meditating. I'm centering, I'm trying to center my center point of energy. So
And I think journaling doesn't have to be something in depth.
Careful.
I do think there's beauty into writing down a jot or two about what came to you,
mhm,
because sometimes it builds upon each other. Like the first little thing you get might not make any sense, and then
mhm.
eventually you're like, oh, I see what's going on. So it's always good to write it down if you can.
Right.
If you can't, it's okay.
I don't know. What do you think, Katrina? What about divination tools and the use of mediumship?
I think that any tool that works, I don't think that it should be looked upon as in any way. Do I think if I had a hammer, I could kill you with that hammer. I could build you a home with it. It's the intention.
Oh, we're going to
Yeah.
the swords.
Yeah.
You can make a home with a sword, but you could always kill somebody with that sword too.
I just feel like it just depends on the intention of the tool you're using.
I agree.
Yeah, because we can use the Ouija board as a slapping forehead shot. So that's a good point. Yeah.
They
No,
strike me as a frisbee.
Yeah. I mean, but these are legit points. I mean, I never thought about it on the double standard with any of the tools. I mean, because even look at dowsing rods. They can give you a positive or a negative. That's a valid point. Or you can use them, unfortunately, to slap. Careful with you can use to do harm with them. Yes, I'm being real good because of YouTube. Long story.
I agree.
So interesting.
Yeah,
Do
my
you
whole theory, like I used to be scared to death, and now my whole thing with a Ouija board or even table tipping or any of these things. At first, when I was younger, I was so scared. And now, as with working with people, you realize it's just a tool. As long as you properly know how to work it, your attention is right. That's all it is.
I agree.
Now, when you did your Ouija board, did they properly open and close it, or did y'all just played the Ouija?
I wasn't really the one that touched it. I never really, at that age, I didn't believe in it. And a lot of times when I came around, it wouldn't work until I started actually believing that it was like a real thing that actually works.
So you believed?
Yes.
I do have a warning and a suggestion to all that work with anything with communicating with spirit.
Mhm.
Always, I don't care who it is, what you do, it isn't saying thank you and goodbye, closing the doors. Always ask for a particular person. Never just go out and say, does anybody want to talk to me? Because you're going to find the weirdos and the creeps that are going to pretend to be who you think they are, just like on the side of the road. I ain't going to get out on this corner and ask somebody their name because this is kind of sketchy. So I got the back ass of my vehicle up against a wall, so I know that nobody can come up behind me.
Mhm.
The key is, unless you can see them, and not everyone possesses that that quality, or not quality, that uh, we used the word before, talent.
Okay.
Because each one is different. Don't think that you're going to go in there. I kind of feel like, me, this is my hypothesis. I think that if you see, you always had seen in one way or another. I'm not sure. I don't feel like seeing can be developed. I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that it's something that when you see them, and it's all the time, not the kind that you just had that bump and saw it in the corner of your eye, because that means that they manifested a lot enough energy. I'm talking about always being able to see them walking on the, and some are light and some of them are looks just like you. I kind of feel like that is already embedded in ours. I don't think that there is, like an exercise that can,
Yeah.
It can enhance, but I don't think you can develop it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
want
sure
to
how you would. I mean, because honestly, I've never seen a full body spirit in front of me. I've sought the corner of your eye. I've had them display pictures in the corner of my eye, or made me feel this, but I've never just seen one
Yeah.
just suddenly sit
For
down right
sure.
beside me, and start talking.
What?
I wish that's not my case. So
Right. Right. I can't say the same. I have seen it, and I'm not the medium style shit. But I mean, with my research and doing this for so long, there's nothing that really I haven't encountered yet. So that's intriguing to me. Is it another form of clairvoyant? I don't know. I don't know. I don't claim anything. I just
I think they're in degrees, just
right.
like if you were instrument, playing an instrument, you would be in first or so on chair.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I just want to say hey to Faye. She's jumping in here. Faye Gaza. We want to say hello. I want to make sure Air Force gets noted because he comes and goes, and it's good to see him back here. Air Force. What? I think a talking board may carry a little bit more credence. I understand. And he
Yeah.
goes, I don't think Hasbro has a factor. I'm like, dude, so, it's right. I mean, there's no factor in there. So, yep. Oh, look. Okay, Lisa Velda just jumped in. Hello, Lisa. Welcome. Look, travelers in the house, along with the forever friends. You like that? I did that for you. She's not even acknowledge I did that. See, you're not doing it. See, I did the forever friends for you. You didn't acknowledge.
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry. You
Do
said
it
it?
again.
Let me do it again. Forever friends.
Yes. Forever friends.
So yeah, the family jumping in here once again. I love how they're slowly coming in and checking out what we're doing, and they'll leave. Lisa says hello, folks, and hello, Lisa. Good to see you, love. Thank you for joining us tonight, right here on the Rift.
Hi, Lisa.
She is in the house. Another forever friend is here, along with the travelers. So we got about 15 minutes left. Let's keep this thing rolling. So let me ask this, if you will. Does these, and we're going to go back a little bit back into divination tools, do you think these tools help you guys in what you do? They're the extension of what you do. Doesn't matter what you do. What's your thought about that?
Rhonda, you go first.
Okay. Well, like if I'm going to do a reading for someone, other than maybe tarot cards to shut off my brain, just to kind of make sure I'm in the right zone if I'm having trouble, then I don't want to use divination tools. I would use divination tools on a paranormal investigation, more so to get validation of what I'm getting. But then I also, for me, I want a piece of other equipment there that's validating what my divination tools are saying, what I'm saying, like all the validation. So I wouldn't necessarily use a divination tool if I was doing a reading for someone, but I would use it with working with paranormal. That's me.
And here you go.
I only use it if it's requested, because I feel like, once again, it's giving validation, which is, but I don't need it to enhance or provide. I just feel like it's more puts the client at ease. And of course, in the other category, like Rhonda said, I love evidence.
Yes.
And I usually write mine down before we even get to the building on pieces of paper of what they're going to experience, who's going to get touched. I can't say that person got touched, but I would say someone's going to definitely indicate where it may be, because I've done communicate it with them. And I usually write down, walking through the damn place, what you go to the right, and this is going to be there, or whatever. That's the only time, and I love it when they go in and it matches what I have written down. Or what's even more exciting is the persons that are doing the investigation with their equipment. That's exciting for them to be able to match that, because now they were told prior, on top of getting it on evidence. So I think it's a win-win on everyone on the investigation.
Yeah, I mean, I love when I feel like you walk in a room and you say, I feel like there's something. Go put your equipment over here, because I think there's something, and that's when it happens. You're like, yes, yes.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've talked about before, about even up to 10 years ago, a lot of paranormal teams did not want a medium or psychic on their team, and now it seems like every team has at least 2 or 3 of them on it. So it's really intriguing.
It's true. We had bad names.
Yeah, back there.
And I think as a medium, it's important that you work with a team that knows you're not always going to be right. You're doing the best you can. You're human. So, make sure that who you're working with is okay with, like, yeah, I might have told you to put it over there, and maybe I got the name wrong, but there was somebody there. So, sometimes you nail it, and sometimes you're just kind of close, and sometimes you're way off track. Right. Or maybe you're not. It just seems so at the moment.
Hey, Stephen, welcome. Debbie Alexander puts, I always open with no evil can come into the space. And also with closing seems to work for me. So, I mean, she's using verbal intent on that one.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more required, not in the communication, but it's more required to put you at ease that you said goodbye.
Yeah. You're not going home with me.
Well, it's no different. Like, you get to your car and you're like, it's been nice. I'm glad you communicate with me. Please stay here. Do not come with me.
Right.
Yeah, if they don't play by the rules in the first place, you saying goodbye ain't gonna change it.
No, they're already in the house.
True.
They got their spiritual foot in the door, and they're like, I'm going to come play with you now, and you can't stop me.
Yes.
Like, crap. Whole new ball game. Let's begin. Debbie hits, that's right. Yeah, me and Deb have encountered it too many times. She has her own story about the Ouija board, and it's a wonderful when we communicate as a community, and we can, give secrets and give our experiences, because she's had multiple experiences too, just like Ashley, which is why I'm going, wow, she's wanting to put her feet in the water. And so is another friend of mine. It's like this year, Katrina, let's go back to what we started the show with. What a Bang people are taking trash about. People are getting more involved. They want to get involved this year. There's people out there. Hey, Steven, sorry, I acknowledge you, brother. The fact that there's a lot of people that are now homing in that have the skills, but now they want to connect with others.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is, it goes back to what and Katrina said it too. Everybody's got it. Everybody can do it. I don't think there's anybody who's not a psychic or medium.
I agree.
Do you would choose to honor that? Do you choose to practice at it? Because right, I'll say it like I might be.
I think once you open the door,
it doesn't mean I'm great
you
at
don't
it,
get
but I
to
can practice
change your mind.
Yeah, I can get practice and get better. You know, and it's a lot of trusting yourself.
Yeah.
That's the big is learning to trust yourself.
Now, okay, within this, since she's right here, let's talk about it. Does it take a little narcissism? Does it take a little ego to do this? To do what y'all do?
I feel like I have to leave ego aside.
And every one of my forever friends will also back me up on this. I take zero credit on the message that you received. All I am is the radio. Right. They knew what to say. They knew what you needed, what you were going through. All of those things came from them. I take no credit in the message. I can't because all I did was read the book.
Right. I feel like if you are a psychic or medium, you can't worry about if you're right or if you're wrong. That's ego. Am I right? I've got to be right. You know, all I can do is tell you what I am getting to the best of my ability, and that to the best of my understanding.
Well, then I got a lot of ego because I sweat every time I make that call to them and be like, did those notes make sense to you?
I think it's when that stifles you. I think when you're stifled and not able to deliver the message because you're afraid you're going to be wrong.
Right.
That's a better example. I would agree with that.
I think the paranormal is what opened me up to it, is what it is, because you're not always going to get the validation with the paranormal. You just have to speak what you're getting, and that's made it easier for me to just say, I don't know why I'm hearing French fries, but I'm just going to tell you I'm hearing French fries. You know.
That's right. And it's the person that is investigating to put the tools together on where it was relevant. Did it have a timing stamp on it that was necessary? All of those are to be put in consideration if you're going to be a true investigator. They can't be outruled.
Right. Let's hit up one more question. That's coming from Stephen. Yeah, I think so too. I want to drop it in there, and since Ash is here, that she can hear this. What if they didn't want that gift? What if that's?
Well, if you didn't want a nose, it's embedded in your DNA. Okay. So you either use it and breathe through your mouth, or you breathe through your nose. I feel that once you start, and I said this earlier, I think once you acknowledge and you open the door, I don't think you can close it.
Well, Katrina, though, I have to ask you, this is a question I have now legitimately, because you hear a lot of people who knew they had it as like a teenager or a child, and it scared them, so they shut it down. But then as an adult, when it comes forth again,
you ignored it.
You ignored it.
They ignored it.
Right.
It wasn't shut down. It was ignored.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Gotcha. Here, Debbie puts, I want to make her read that, hun, you need to feel proud of what you have. You can only read what you are feeling at the time. Stephen returns back with, I have lived a life of hell. My brother died young from family curse. My father's heart beat at 300 BPM. Mine beats at 40. My brother's was 30. We see both worlds. Our whole life.
Oh, I get that. I mean, that's an extremely low heart rate on the verge of like you're not here anymore.
Right. So it's kind of like, okay. I mean, that's Wow. I don't know if any of us have anything that we can
I
really
have no experience with that. That's interesting that it's from, you know, it's part of a family
trait.
thing. Um,
I don't know. Katrina, what do you think
what do
about
you
that?
think about that one, Katrina?
Um, well, I do believe that well, it, I was in a mental institution visiting someone, okay? And we were having a birthday, and there was a young man that had been like in his young 20s, and you can tell that he was just, not all there. But I saw that there was a like an Eastern Asian
Mhm.
man, and I described what he was wearing and all the and including the hat. My son is like this, he knows everything about
Hey,
history,
Robert, you're
and
late.
he had named it. Well, what happened is that in this war, whatever happened, because he had an American hat on,
Mhm.
I know that he was the firstborn in every family. Male in that family is gonna go crazy, and the bad part about it is he was on him, just sitting there talking. Now, it wasn't a demon, it was a living person that died and had a grudge, and it was happening. And I can guarantee, now the part that got to me, I'm telling my boys, okay, don't look over there, because I could hear him say, she can see me, go over there. And before you knowed it, that man was literally right behind me, so close. Thank God it was a chair with a back to it. And it just, I'm just, so I think that that kind of answers a little bit of the possibility,
Mhm.
which means that I would have to see a photo of the family for me to be able to tell you, because I could, if that is a scenario.
There it is. There it is. We have 4 minutes left. This
I talk so long, I'm sorry.
no,
No, we love it.
no.
We
I
love
think you did
having
a
you,
fine
Katrina.
job.
I love having you, Katrina.
I know it's always a
Thank you.
pleasure to be here with you. Where can people find you? What do you got going on? Let's let some people know before you start that long drive out there.
Well, uh, with the events that had went on with COVID, not to mention me in hiding from MS-13s with my house and all that kind of stuff, I have been just starting back into getting into public. So I've been doing some paracons. I did with, just, it's not like I'm working it, but I am, I have a booth, and I'll work myself back up to being asked to be at these paracons. But I just
Mhm.
love wherever I am, I know I'm supposed to be with them. And that's all I walk in there to do. And if it can pay the fee for the table, that's good. But meanwhile, I know that it's going to make you talk to someone else about your experience. And my sign that I made is that it's $10 for the reading, $10 tip if I hit it, and zero if I don't. So
I
I
like
still
that.
walked home with $500 on a 5 hour, 6 hour day. And I didn't do that many. So all I can say is that I got tips well, and the messages get where they need to be.
Right.
It just, I don't care if I'm in the wee back. I'm not sweating it, because I know that who I'm supposed to be will make their way back there.
Which are you doing any paracons coming up this year?
I am. I just got done doing East Paracon, which was with the Kling brothers. I'm terrible with names, but if you Google it, you'll see it. I'm sorry. And I'm also I have one that is, I did work it last year, but it's West Paracon, Texas. It's in Ballinger. It's at a haunted hotel. I think it's 1909. But once again, I probably got that all wrong too, but it is coming up. That part I know for sure, and I'll be there. So, and then I'm working. I'm trying to do some psychic fairs, just to just ooze in there, and anybody that wants me to come over, I'll do it for some people. That's what I do.
We got to get you
I'm
here to
I'm
the
out and
cabin.
about now.
Yep, we got to get you to the cabin. That's one
I'd
of our
love
goals.
that.
Yep, we got
Yes.
to get you out here. Travelers and those alike, thank you so much for tuning in to the Orion Effect right here on the Rift Nation Network. This has been a special presentation with our special guest, Katrina Cooper, and our co-host, Ashley McNeil, which you may see more of. Check us out in just another couple of about an hour. We're
Yeah.
going to be on with another friend of ours, Ryan Jones, talk about 80s country. Whoop,
And I
whoop.
am dying to see what you came up with, Alex. You are not something that.
Make sure to tune in tomorrow night to Joni and Keith, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, with Otters Dan and True Crimes Mysteries Behind the Scenes, and then of course Tuesdays with Bag of Nuts. So stay tuned. Let's have some fun, and we will see you all on the other side.
Be safe,
Thank
Katrina.
you. Bye,
Be
everybody.
careful.
Thank you for having me.
Always.
Safe
Mwah.
travels.
Take care, forever friends. We'll see you soon too. Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.